God is the only reality. All else that seems real is illusory. God and I are one. Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Thanks to beloved Baba and Jai Baba to all of you. We are coming to the end of this book. This is the last chapter. Last time I said it was the last chapter, but actually this is the last chapter. And it is more of a poem. And it has 4 separate subtitles or subsections. So it will require, I think, very little or minimal of explanation. It flows very smoothly. So Soumya would be reading that out today.
Inseparable are your name, page.
Sorry, page number 95. More conversations with the Awakener.
Inseparable are your name and form. First one, reflection. Through both your name and form, your presence equally reveals itself as love. For your name and form are inseparable. Innate in your name is your form. Inherent in your form is your name. This awareness infuses something blessed into life, giving nectar to every name and form. This interplay of name and form creates such a perfect blending that at times you appear as name without form, or just form which cannot be named. Does this blending rise up from the bottomless depths or descend as grace from above? Who can say? But it transforms your name into form and your form into name. This much can be said. Your name and form originate in one another and merge again in your unfathomable silence. You are the manifested one, the silent one, who sows and nurtures the specific name or form which is most naturally accessible to everyone. Once awakened to this gift of grace, the heart begins to sing the song of love to you, glorifying the ocean of beauty contained in you. Assuming a form that takes a name provides your love an excuse to draw us into your shoreless being, where your presence radiates infinite hues.
So basically 2 areas of explanation, if at all. The awareness of Baba's name and the awareness of Baba's form. That is the one which infuses something blessed into life. In other words, that is the source of all names, and the form of Baba is the source of all forms. And at the end of the poem, the author says, assuming a form that takes a name, we all know, Meher Baba, provides your love an excuse to draw us into your shoreless being. If there was no form, then how do we know? Erach would say, Erach Jasawala, that having a form and having a name, it's an excuse for him to make himself more tangible, so that he is like one of us. We can emulate him, we can study him, we can follow him. We know what sort of life he has lived and try to live that life. So he becomes an epitome of a perfect human being, how a human being should be and how he should behave. So here it says, assuming a form that takes a name, provides your love an excuse to draw us into your shoreless being, where your presence radiates infinite hues. Hues actually are colors, but here the other dictionary meaning of hues is radiates infinite aspects of yourself, infinite appearance of yourself. That means each one is nothing but you wearing the mask of that particular form and the particular name. So that was the first poem.
Part 2, transition. When that spark, the embryo of your I, assumed your form, it consumed the numberless forms to which I was helplessly attached. And the first syllable of your germinal name, as it coursed through my breath, softly cleansed the obstructions in my veins, ushering in the flow of your presence. May that spark become insatiable and that name become unutterable until the totality of your presence permeates every name and form I hear and see.
Perhaps I may read that again. When that spark, the embryo of your embryo, we know it's the earliest stage of let's say pregnancy. Just a minute. Huh? So, sorry for the interruption. Sorry. The earliest stage of pregnancy, we call it embryo, assumed your form. It consumed the numberless forms to which I was helplessly attached. So once we fall in love with Baba, with God, with the truth, with the reality, all our attachments to other forms, which is not a reality, which is an illusion, which is just a creation of Maya, we get detached from those forms. That's what the author is saying. And the first syllable of your germinal name is the formative name, the initial name. As it coursed through my breath, softly cleansed the obstructions in my veins, ushering in the flow of your presence. The more we breathe Baba's name, it clears the pathway in our veins for his name to be, for his love to follow that name. So as we repeat his name, it clears the pathway of all the junk that we have in our veins, and then his love follows that. May that spark become insatiable, incapable of being satisfied. We are never satisfied. We want more and more of his love. May that spark become insatiable and that name become unutterable. That means the name and I have become so one that you cannot utter that name until the totality of your presence permeates. Permeates would mean pervade, spreads all over, permeates every name and form I hear and see. That means that love should be so overpowering, overflowing, that every name that I hear and every form that I see, I only hear you, your name, and I only see you. I behold you only in each and every form and each and every name.
Part 3, conversation. Yet, what an irony that my mind, my friend, instead of seeking your pleasure, often attempts to weigh the pros and cons to find what is most easy and beneficial. So, I asked you guardedly, what is profitable? What is greater, your name or your form? You looked deeply into infinity and seemed to reflect for some moments. And as I looked at you, I felt waves of pink and gold flowing from your eyes and splendid forms gracefully emerging and merging back into that radiance. Then you smiled comfortingly at me and replied, when my name seeps into the unconscious realm of your mind, it strums the sweetest chords of the heart. And when my form becomes the source of your sight, it reflects itself in other forms with a graceful start. And you concluded, so the song that sings the glory of either name or form is equally great. In your loving consideration for all, I have noticed that you remain ever non committal. So I smiled back faintly and said, yes, I know, meaning I would never know. Your all encompassing answer is an unfinished, unfolding art, ever guiding one and all to you, the radiant heart. Then you looked deep into my eyes and rose up, saying, wholehearted remembrance of my name or form releases my unconditional benign presence. And in this is the answer to everything, to any question in the real sense.
Here also I would like to read a few paragraphs. Here Baba says, the author is asking which is more profitable, your name or your form. So he says smilingly, I'm not reading the whole para. When my name seeps into your unconscious realm of mind, it strums. Strumming is when you play a guitar or any string instrument, that's called strumming. It strums the sweetest chords of your heart. And when my form becomes the source of your sight, everything that we see is Baba. It reflects itself in other forms with a graceful start. Start would also mean you got a start, or you could also say it's a beginning that way. And you conclude it. So the song that sings the glory of either name or form is equally great. So both are equally important. Then here, the last paragraph, wholehearted remembrance of my name or form. There are times when Baba has been, especially the Sufism reoriented group, the group which we call it the Sufis, they have been given certain exercises of seeing Baba's form and meditating. So there are times where Baba emphasized on his form, and there are times when he emphasizes on his name. But both are equally important. And if we can do both, then nothing like it. So wholehearted remembrance of my name or form releases my unconditional benign presence. His presence is being released. And in this is the answer to everything, to any question in the real sense. And that is what we have been over and over, repeating, that at the end of the day, what is important is constant, wholehearted remembrance, or remembering Him as often as we can in the midst of our daily activities and daily duties. That is the panacea, you can say, of all the problems and issues. So here ends the third one, no, the last fourth.
Fourth, confession.
Confession.
I do not live what I write. What I write, I live not. But what a consolation! You signed on my heart, even me, a nonsensical knot. And this made me sing and carry to every part of my being your message. My name is love for the sake of love. My form is compassion for the sake of nothing. What a compassionate love and loving compassionate compassion are you.
So here, again, I say this may perhaps apply to many of us, if not to all. So the author says the last paragraph of this book, the last poem, if you may, it's called Confession. He's confessing. I do not live what I write. What I write, I live not. But What a consolation. You signed on my heart. In other words, of course, the best would be to walk our talk, but sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So the consolation is that Baba has accepted us as we are. We call it, what is that called? OLS. OLS. Sorry, yeah, OLX. As is, where is condition. Howsoever we may be, whosoever we may be, the good, the bad, the ugly, Baba has given us the treasure of his name and of his form. It is like he has given the key to liberation. All we need to do is to use it at the right time. And the right time, in my understanding, would be the moment when we breathe our last. And if we are able to remember him and speak, or in our own hearts remember him, then Baba's promise is that we don't come again. That's what Baba has said. So we take that, as we say, Dao Lagana. Dao Lagana means, what is it called? You bet your life, you bet your life on that one moment, the last moment when the soul is trying to escape the cage of the body. At that time, if we are able to remember him, then the game is won. Then nothing to be worried about. So here, what I'll repeat this. I do not live what I write. What I write, I live not. But what a consolation. You signed on my heart. Even me, a nonsensical not. Not would mean zero, nothing. I am nothing. But even though I am nothing, you have signed your name on my heart. You have touched my heart. You have accepted me as I am. So what a great consolation that is. And this made me sing and carry to every part of my being your message. My name is love for the sake of love. If you meher, meher, in Persian, it could mean the sun, but it also means when we say meher, and when that name is spelled in the reverse, REHEM, Rehem, that again means the same thing. Meher is full of love, full of compassion, full of mercy. My name is love for the sake of love. My form is compassion for the sake of nothing. That means his compassion is unconditional. He does not expect anything out of us in order that his compassion may flow towards us. Unconditionally, he is compassionate and loving towards us. My form is compassion for the sake of nothing. What a compassionate love and loving compassion are you. So here ends the chapter and the book, More Conversations with the Awakener. In the next sitting, that will be on Saturday, we will be starting another book called Intimate Conversations with the Awakener. That is the third of the series of conversations with the Awakener. Now, today, fortunately, it ended quite early. We all know a very important occasion in Baba's ministry is coming 2 days after today, which is the 2nd of December. Every time the avatar comes, one of the agendas for which he comes is to take upon himself the suffering of humanity. Depending upon the time and the age, he chooses how he has to suffer. Baba had said that this is the age of mechanism. You know, it's an industrial age, and wheel is considered as the symbol of that age, a wheel. And therefore, we have seen that Baba had said that in order to break the materialistic tendencies of the the backbone of the materialistic tendencies of the material world, machinery age, machine age, material world, I will have to break my bones. That is what he had said. And that happened once, the first time on 24th of May 1952 in Oklahoma, Prague. They some pronounce it as Prague, but later on I came to know from some very authentic source it's Prague, which is in almost the middle of USA. That was on 24th May. And the second one is at Uttara, which is near Satara in Maharashtra. And this happened on the 2nd of December 1956. And I always maintain that it has been so meticulously orchestrated by the avatar that on this particular day, at this particular time, at this particular place, this so-called accident should take place. So what I thought, we would very briefly run through the whole scenario of how it all happened. We'll do it today because Thursday we don't have a reading session. So 2 days before that, Soumya would be reading. If I need to interject, I would do that so that we all understand that this is my personal, very personal feeling. The moment we say Baba met with an accident, and when some unknown person hears this, he might think, how can the avatar, a person who calls himself God, how can he meet with an accident? So I would always add a few sentences, self-imposed suffering, or that he orchestrated this so that he takes upon himself the suffering of humanity. So I had made a small note of it. Soumya would be reading that, and if at all I need a little interjection, I would do that. Other than that, there is no explanation coming through. Yes, Mayor Daruwala has something to ask. Mayor, come. Mayor. Mayor Daruwala.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you have anything to ask? No, okay. Anyway, if she wants, she can always unmute and speak anytime.
I was going to tell you about Satara Cyrus uncle.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cyrus, I have put one question in the chat.
I don't read.
We didn't read.
Please read out. Please read out.
What is this form you are talking about? Is it a photograph of Baba?
No, the physical form that he takes upon himself. What we see is only the physical form. The people in the gross world. The people in the subtle world will see him as a subtle being. People in the mental world will see him as a mental being. I don't know what that means. And people who are one with God will see him as God. So that is the form we are talking about.
No, but you said that in Sufi reoriented, he had.
I'm the photograph, yes. The picture, photograph, image, whatever you call it. Yes.
Okay.
That
is what I wanted to know.
Been given a certain set of disciplines which they do on an ongoing daily basis. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right.
The accident was no accident. Baba and the Mandali were staying at Satara. One day, Baba expressed a wish to visit a place in North India around 1,000 miles away. Erich was on the wheel and they drove through rugged terrain and fine city roads day and night. After driving for around 36 continuous hours, Baba abruptly instructed Erich to stop the car and asked him to bring the road map of India. Spreading the map on the road, Baba asked Erich to point out on the map where they were at the moment, which Erich did. Baba asked, is it possible to drive the car back to Satara in 24 hours' time? It has taken us 36 hours. I can try, but it would be reckless driving. Okay, turn back, let's go. 90 miles an hour and Baba asking Erich, faster, faster. It was past midnight. Erich could not see anything. He felt as if he was passing through a tunnel. Finally, reached in 24 hours. Well done. Take 1 day's rest. After that, Baba assembled the mandali and started shouting praises. Erich piped in, "Please release me from this driving duty. This is not the way to drive, especially when you are there. Sometimes I feel like just swerving the car and dash it against a tree and be done with, and that will be the end of it all." Baba's gestured. "Are you mad? What will happen when I am there?" And so on.
So you just imagine day and night driving, not stopping at all for any rest or sleep. Iraj was a superhuman being, you can say, and he did that. And Iraj, when he narrated this in the Mandli Hall, I'm sure it's in the film as well. Iraj's film. Iraj said, the moment Baba praises you, you must understand that he's going to really make a chutney out of you. So this is how Baba went all the way north 1000 miles and came back apparently for no reason. And Iraj was so fed up of driving that he said, one day I just want to dash it against the tree. And that's the gesture which Baba does later on after the accident. Are you happy now? Are you satisfied? Anyway, all right, go ahead.
About 18 months before the accident, in mid-June 1955, while Baba was in seclusion, he expressly asked Pendu to find a place nearby where cricket can be played. Baba approved the place at Udtara, around 13 miles away on the Satara-Pune highway, and asked him to prepare the pitch. 20 others were called from Bombay, Pune, Ahmednagar, etc. Baba informed all that he has some very important and special work to accomplish, and all must participate seriously and put their best and sincere effort, and no one should consider this as a picnic. 2 teams of 10 each were formed by Baba, with himself as the 11th player on both sides. Nariman and Sarosh were the captains. After tossing the coin, Sarosh chose to bat first. Baba was the wicket keeper. When the turn of Nariman's team to bat came, they showed poor performance and were losing as the team had many players who were old. Baba then took to bat. As Baba was suffering from piles, he could not run fast, and so he asked for permission for a runner from the captain, as is the practice in cricket. Baba was batting away and scoring fast. When the scores got even, Baba said enough and the game stopped. Baba was very happy and most satisfied with the game and said that his work was accomplished. Everyone remembered the game as their bodies ached for days together.
So Baba was planning now the place where the accident would take place 1.5 years after this game of cricket, a very serious game of cricket. And Baba also followed the rules that because he could not run fast, because he was suffering from piles, he had to ask the permission of the captain to request for a runner. So the runner was appointed in place of Baba. And when the scores were tie, we call it equal, Baba said the game is over and the work is also over. And he was absolutely happy with the game, apart from the game, with the work that was accomplished with this particular game.
Exactly 1 year later, in mid 1956, after this memorable game of cricket, Baba, still in seclusion, had come to Merazad for some time. He was attending to correspondence sitting in room number 4, as there was no Mandali hall built at that time. Suddenly, Baba asked Erich to bring a paper and pencil and asked him to take down the notes that he was dictating. That note later became the Life Circular number 29, dated 5th July 1956. It was titled, a message from Avatar Meher Baba in his seclusion and read, quote, as declared in the past, I am free from promises and am not bound by time and space. Though all happenings are in the realm of illusion, a great so-called tragedy is facing me and my lovers. My long expected humiliation is near at hand. This may happen tomorrow or any day of this year, or it may happen next year. The love, courage, and faith on my lovers will be put to severe test, not by me, but by divine law. Those who hold fast to me at the zenith of this crisis will transcend illusion and abide in reality. I want my lovers to rest assured that my humiliation and tragedy, though necessary, are but passing phases which are bound to have a glorious end as is destined. My love to all, unquote.
So this caution or warning was given in July 1956, about 5 months before the actual so-called accident.
Just 3 days before the accident, on November 29, 1956, Baba remarked, quote, the month or so before the climax of my seclusion on Feb 15 will hold greater and more concentrated suffering for me, in which a number of my close ones will also share, unquote.
So the accident that took place, Erach we know, so many ribs broken, Nilu died on the spot, Vishnu was injured, Pendu's hip was broken. So Baba is already beforehand cautioning that very soon something is going to happen in which I will have to suffer and my close ones will also be suffering. Vishnu had Vishnu had.
Baba informed that he had some very important work, such that would require complete fast, not even water, for Baba as well as some of his mandali. Baba chose the date as Sunday, 2nd of December, 1956. Bhau was suffering with pleurisy and Baba
From plurals.
from here. And Baba ordered him to take complete rest and not to move out of bed. How should we spend the second? We cannot take even water that day, and something should be done to avoid thirst and hunger pains. Baba suggested that they go to Pune that day to watch the cricket match that would keep the mind away from fast. Erach was asked to keep ready Nariman Chevrolet 1952 model car, which was kept in Satara for Baba's use.
This car belonged to Nariman and Arnavas Dada Chanji. Intuitively, Arnavas never liked this car and they never used it a year prior to the accident. And they had always kept that at Baba's disposal for his use. And that was the very car in which the accident took place.
Vishnu had departed for Pune on December 1st for some work, and Baba invited him to join them on their return to Satara on the evening of the 2nd. Meherji was called to Satara from Pune on the 1st and instructed to bring several crates of soda water.
Baba used to like drinking soda water. And there's another story how Baba made Bauji change so many crates of soda water. No, this is all humbug. I want a better quality and all that. I think it was Duke's soda which Baba liked. So when Meherji was coming, Baba had asked Meherji to bring a few crates of soda water.
It was Baba's standing order for him to come to Satara by bus. But because he had been told to bring the soda, Meherji drove to Satara in his new Chevrolet. When he arrived, Baba was furious with him. Why did you break my order and came in your car? Send it back to Pune immediately. So Meherji sent it back with the driver, and he stayed the night at Satara.
So this is the 1st of December, which is a Saturday.
Erish was asked not to inform the women mandali about the fast, otherwise they would unnecessarily worry, and that he should accept any water can and snacks and that they would pack and give for the journey and keep it in the dicky.
See how practical Baba was. Baba did not want the women to know that they are on strict fast on that day, not even water. Otherwise, the women will worry. So now, trying to be practical, he said, if the women give you some snacks and sandwiches and all that, chup chap, just silently take it and keep it in the dicky. Don't tell them that we are on fast on that particular day, which is the 2nd of December, Sunday.
Kaikobad had urged Baba not to travel on that day as it was supposed to be an inauspicious day.
Kekobad Dastur came from a priest family. We all know he stayed behind Baba's Samadhi for several years. And generally, they are very, what should I say, superstitious about days, good days and bad days. So Kekobad sort of told Baba, don't travel on this day because it's not an auspicious day.
As Erich started the car neared the gate of the Rosewood bungalow, they saw a Parsi priest go by. Mayor Ji, who was himself an ordained priest, said that it is considered ill-fated to see the priest when one is about to begin the journey and is meant sure death in the house. Erich did not pay any heed and laughed it off. He then recollected that he had forgotten his driving license if something were to happen, and so, stopping the car at the gate, fetched him. As they picked up Baba from Grafton,
there were two bungalows. One was Grafton, where Baba and the women Mandli stayed, and the other one was Rosewood, where Baba's men Mandli stayed, and where Bhauji was strictly instructed not to get up from bed because he was suffering from pleurisy.
As they picked up Baba from Grafton, he asked Erich if he had any money on him in case of any emergency.
The same thing Baba had asked Elizabeth Patterson in the West, when that first accident took place. Have you taken your insurance papers? And she said, no, I don't have it with me. And Baba said, drive there, take the papers. And that's how, see how practical Baba was, how omniscient. Obviously, he is complete omniscience. He knew everything. And so even at the worldly level, at the materialistic level, he made sure that everything is okay. So he asked Erich, have you got some money in case of an emergency? Erich said, I don't have any.
Erich said he did not.
Yeah.
So Dr. Goher was sent to bring some money. Before she could return with the money, Baba signaled Erich to start the car. Goher came running after the car, shouting, stop, Erich, stop. Baba had a hearty laugh and asking Erich to stop and collect the money.
This is Baba's masti, Baba's chavi, Baba's humor, that at any time under any situation, he would do that. So he hinted Erich, keep driving, and Gover was running after the car, asking Erich to stop.
On the pretext of going to enjoy a cricket match, Baba left Satara accompanied by Erich, Pindu, Meherji and Neelu. On the way, because of the sun, Baba changed places with Neelu, moving from the front to the back seat.
Normally, Baba would sit in the front seat, and normally Baba had the habit of putting his legs, both the legs, on the dashboard. But here he's changing seats with Neelu. And what work Baba did because of that, we really do not know, because on the return journey, Neelu dies because of the impact.
They had a pleasant drive, and on reaching Pune, they proceeded straight to the cricket ground, Gymkhana, parked the car under a tree, and began watching the game. Despite their fast, Baba gave each a banana to eat. Some close lovers of Baba had come to see the match, and observing Baba's car, guessed that Baba must be here And so they started walking back and forth.
Baba had instructed, because he was in seclusion, that people outside the mandali, if they even see, they should turn their face and walk away. And I suppose it was K.K. Ramakrishna and Gadekar, Ramchandra Gadekar. They were also there, so they saw Baba car, and they, in the hope that they may have a glimpse of Baba's darshan, they closed in to the place.
At around 3 in the afternoon, Eric spotted them closing in towards Baba, who immediately asked Eric to tell them not to come any closer and castigated them as to why they came in spite of specific orders. Baba's work was disturbed and he told Eric, "Let's go." Vishnu arrived and took Merji's place.
Vishnu had already gone one day before, so now Merji drops off to Pune. Vishnu takes Merji's place, and in our understanding, limited understanding, because Baba had to time his accident. So here he doesn't see the complete match. You know, he said, "My work, I am disturbed. I don't want to see the match anymore. Let's go. Let's return."
Before leaving Pune for Satara, Baba had Erich drive to his family's house to visit his brother Jal as well as Behram and his family. Baba directed the twins, Sorab and Rustam, to get their bunch of marbles as he wanted to play a game of marbles.
This is called Baba House, we call it now. That one, the one with the well, and there's a room as you enter on the as you go to Baba's room. There's another room. It was designated as Jal's room, Baba's brother's Jal's room, and that is where Baba sits on the bed and plays the marble. Go ahead.
Baba went to Jal's room and sat on the bed, examining the marbles. He selected a fine shooter and insisted on being the first player. Baba's move was very serious and he aimed at the bunch with such intensity and focus and shot at the marbles with such force that several of the glass marbles shattered into pieces. Observing this, the twins were stunned and utterly amazed. Their eyes literally popped out to see such powerful shot. They then wanted to play their turn, but Baba clapped and gestured that was the end of the game. Soon after, Baba walked through the lane to where the car was parked. They began their drive back to Satara.
When Rustam and Saurabh narrates this story, it is so powerful. They say that Baba he concentrated with such force. That means such serious work was happening. And with that one shot, you know, so many marbles, they just broke. And then they say that when they wanted their turn, Baba said, the game is over. And with such grace, you know, like a king, you know, walking out of the lane, you know, that gate, that grace with which he walked, you know, it was a sight to behold. That is what they would say. Baba just walked away to the car.
Prime Minister of China, Chou En-lai, was in town that day with Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru of India to attend some political function, and so their car had to wait because of the motorcade. Neelu was anxious to get out of the car and watch them pass, but Baba did not like the idea. Neelu persisted, and finally Baba gave in and allowed him. It was a bit far, but Neelu stood on the road by an intersection as the motorcade with Chou En-lai and Nehru passed. Neelu then returned to the car.
Baba discouraged Neelu by this was the action. You know, Chinese, they have flat nose. So Baba would say, what is there to see in that person? What is there to see that flat nose person? You know? But Neelu insisted, and then Baba gave in. Okay, go and see.
On the way, Baba instructed Erich to drive the car slowly since he did not want to reach early, as otherwise the women mandali may wonder if something is wrong with Baba's health, or Baba did not enjoy the match and returned halfway to the match.
See the concern of Baba. He did not want the ladies, the women mandali, to feel, you know, that, oh, something must have gone wrong with Baba's health. That's why they came so early. So here Baba is asking Eros slow, slow, slow. Quite contrary to what Baba did to Elizabeth Patterson in the West in the first accident. Fast, fast, fast. You know, he would say. And Elizabeth said, but Baba, I already touched 90. 90 means 90 miles, not kilometers. And Baba would say fast, fast. Quite the contrary. Okay.
Baba had taken a seat in the back with Vishnu and Pendu. At 5 p.m., 15 miles outside of Satara, Baba had the car stop and switched places with Neelu and sat in the front seat. Baba's fingers were working continuously, indicating his serious mood.
Again, there is a change of seat between Baba and Neelu.
As they drove on and neared Uttara, they reminisced about the cricket match Baba had played with the Mandli and other lovers a year and a half
So
before.
they just passed that place where 18 months before the cricket match was played, and they all remembered that. And just then, the accident took
Again, Baba warned Eros to slow down. At 5:15 p.m., the steering wheel suddenly and inexplicably went completely out of control. The car swerved, crashing against a stone culvert and landed eventually in a foot-deep ditch on the other side of it.
The car was heading from Pune to Satara, but Eros says, I don't know what happened to the steering wheel. It just did not coordinate, and the car swerved, and it was now facing again the Pune side.
All of the men in the car, including Baba, was seriously injured. Baba was bathed in blood, his tongue was torn, his hip bone fractured, and he had abrasions on his forehead, nose, cheeks, and legs. Yet, at the time of the accident, when Vishnu saw Baba's facial expression, he became dazed. Catching a glance of Baba's bleeding face, Vishnu was overcome and saw Baba's glorious universal body and a dazzling light on his face. Vishnu,
Sorry. Here, what we are seeing is all the men were there in the car in the second auto accident, whereas in the first, all the women were there in the car. The person who was driving was Elizabeth Patterson, to whom Baba had given a wild flower exactly 20 years before the accident date, 24th May 1932. And Baba uttered meaning dictated, remembered this date. And exactly 20 years after, Elizabeth was driving and Baba met with the accident. Here it was all the men were there and they were all injured. There also, all were injured except for Mani, who attained very, very minor injuries.
Vishnu later recalled, I was the only one in the back of the car. I stepped out and went to the front to see how Baba was and saw him reclining in the front seat with blood on his clothes and face. Even though I saw Baba bleeding, never in my life have I seen such utter radiance and luster as was on Baba's face then. He was like a king, a victorious king who had won a great battle. The radiance was blinding. I could see nothing else, not the car, nor the surroundings, only Baba's face in glorious triumph.
And now when he was traveling with the men, his entire right side was injured. When he was traveling with the women, his entire left side was injured. Whether it's a coincidence or not, we talk about the yin and the yang. We talk about the feminine energy and the male energy. So maybe that makes sense.
After a few moments, Vishnu asked Baba if he was hurt much. Baba nodded, pointing to his mouth and leg, but gestured for Vishnu first to see how the others were.
Gestured to Vishnu, first see how the others are. The same way over there in the West, Baba said, don't worry about me, see how is Mehra. Please see if she's not injured much. Even in such pain, Baba thought about the well-being of the other.
The sight had infused Vishnu with strength. Although one of his legs was injured and he had face cuts and a broken rib, Vishnu forgot the pain and began moving about, trying to help the others. Pendu and Nilu had been thrown out of the car, lying unconscious on the ground. Pendu's leg was broken. Erich was conscious, his hands on the wheel, but several of his ribs were fractured. Nevertheless, he managed with superhuman effort to stand up and lean against the car and talk to Baba. The road was deserted of traffic and pedestrians. 3 minutes after the accident, a young man driving in the opposite direction from Belgaum to Pune saw the wreck and stopped his car. Erich and Vishnu walked back to the car. Vishnu was sent in the car with Baba to Crafton Bungalow. An open truck stopped and Erich, Pendu and Nilu were taken to Rosewood.
Imagine people injured with a broken leg and several ribs broken going in a truck, and they went back to their place in Rosewood.
When Baba arrived at Grafton, he was made to sit on a chair with handrest and lifted by the women to his bed. Mani rushed on her bicycle to get Dr. Donkin from Rosewood. At that time, Baba said, "I think Nilu is gone." The Mandali realized why Baba was extra sweet with Nilu the last few days. When asked earlier by Baba, Nilu had expressed his desire to die instantaneously and in the physical presence of Baba. Meru recollects that when Erich drove into Grafton to pick up Baba in the morning, Nilu seemed in an exceptionally good mood, waving to all, which is quite out of his character. Donkin came running from Rosewood and began treating Baba's wounds along with Dr. Goher. Mera was beside herself with grief as she wiped the blood from Baba's face. Bhau had followed Mani and Dawn to Grafton despite Baba's orders that he should rest. When Baba saw Bhau, his first words were, "Why did you break my order?" So Bhau returned to the bungalow. Just then, the truck came with Erich, Pendu, and Nilu. Bhau forgot Baba's orders and went running to call the civil surgeon, Dr. Abadin.
How difficult it must be that Baba's orders to Bhau was not to get up from bed. But here there are three of his brothers, they were brother disciples who are so utterly injured. So how can he, in spite of, he just forgot about Baba's orders and once again got up to call the civil surgeon.
The civil surgeon came and Baba asked, "How is it you've come? As today is Sunday, your off day?" "It is my duty," the surgeon replied.
Even here Baba is asking, today is your Sunday, off day. How is it that you are here?
Meanwhile, at Rosewood, Nilu had been placed in Bhau's bed, but he was bleeding badly. After some time, upon examination, the doctor pronounced Nilu dead. The doctor advised that Erich and Pendu be shifted to the civil hospital, and Bhau and Aloba took them there by an ambulance where both were treated. Baba sends a word to Erich that the fast can now be broken, and if the doctor gives medicine, you can take water.
See how considerate, how aware. Obviously, he is awareness personified, conscious personified. He is sending a word to Erich that if at all you need to take water because of taking some medicine, some pills, it's okay. The fast can now be broken because the work for which the fast was taken is accomplished.
Baba was taken by an ambulance to the small and primitive local hospital to have his thumb stitched. He was laid on the table in the operating room. Dr. Goher had come and she and Bhau stood quietly near Baba. He gestured to Goher, "See that I do not utter any sound. If I do, hold my hand tightly so that I may know. Be by my side all the time." Despite his obvious pain and discomfort, Baba showed a happy expression. Not a word came from Baba's mouth.
Just imagine suturing the stitching of the tongue, and he never uttered a single word.
Despite the serious wounds and excruciating pain. After his tongue and other cuts under his chin were stitched, Gohead took Baba back to Grafton in an ambulance. It was an old vehicle with no shock absorbers, which rattled Baba's body. After a bruising journey, it was 2 a.m. before Baba got to lie down in bed. All Baba lovers soon came to know of the accident through the newspapers, but because of Baba's seclusion, they were restricted from either visiting, writing, or in any way contacting him, and they had to respect his wish and keep quiet.
Here Baba is injured. Imagine our most beautiful, the one whom we respect the most, the one whom we love the most, is injured, very gravely injured, and you are not expected to write to him. You are not expected to meet him or see him or come to him. So what sort of a what should I say, penance that was for the people around that time.
On the morning of December 3rd, 1956, although in tremendous pain, Baba remarked, the Hungarians suffered much in their recent struggle against the Russians. Many were lying wounded and helpless on the roads, away from their loved ones and from care or relief from pain. At least I'm lying on a bed with the care of good doctors and the love of all my lovers present and absent.
Even in the depth of pain, Baba was thinking about the Hungarians, about the others who are lying on the road unattended, unloved. So he's saying how fortunate I am. In other words, what he's expecting us to do is to cultivate this attitude of gratitude and always see to the positive side of things, that things could be much worse than what it is now. Of course, for Baba, it's a different, he actually orchestrated the whole thing. But here also, he's thinking about those who are without any love, without any assistance.
After a month or so, Erich recollects that Baba was already shifted in a rented house in Pune. Pendu is still indisposed with his broken hip, but Erich's ribs were healed and he is asked to come to Pune. As soon as Erich enters Baba's room, Baba gestures, swerving of the steering wheel and asks, are you satisfied
Because
now?
Erich had said no, that one day I just feel like, driving in, swerving the wheel in such a way, and I want to dash it on the tree. And Baba just joked. You see the sense of humor even at that time. Are you now satisfied? You satisfied your desire to do whatever was fulfilled or not that way?
Why are you so presumptuous to think that you are the cause of all this? I am the cause, you are just the instrument. Dr. Donkin sent the X-ray plates to England, and the world-renowned surgeon said that this man will never be able to walk again.
And Baba had said that I will show you that I will walk again. And that is what he did. There's a film where Baba is showing that in spite of all the doctors saying that I won't be able to walk. Of course, Baba walked with a limp. There's no doubt. But he did walk. Even Pendu's hip was so injured that he could not walk later on except with a limp and with a stick in his hand. So for life, Pendu could not walk comfortably. So also with Baba. And Erich was very presumptuous that I am the cause of the accident for Baba, just as how Elizabeth Patterson was in the first accident. So Erich kept on thinking that I am the cause, I did this to the, I was always afraid and concerned that one fine day this will happen, and now it happened. So Baba is consoling him. Don't be so presumptuous that you are the cause, because I am the cause of all this and you were only an instrument in the whole Leela, divine game.
That was most painful for Erich, but Baba assured that he will be able to walk and you will see it. Dr. Donkin.
Okay. See, what had happened was Dr. Donkin had, this is how I understand, lent a book. Baba had said to Erich that in every Advent, the leg of the avatar is injured in some way or the other. And then Erich thought that Baba was just, placating him or just trying to make him happy that, oh, don't worry, you are not the cause. But then one fine day, Dr. Donkin gave a certain book to Eraj where he was reading that it was written over there that Jesus had injured his leg and that Jesus was limping. So that is when Eraj felt a little consolation. Sorry? That it was destined that the avatar has to be has to have a limping leg. Go ahead.
After a prolonged case, the judge
Yeah, okay. What had happened after that was Eraj did not drive after that. There was a court case because it was an accident on the road, so obviously a police case, and that dragged on for several years. And at the end of the case, when the day of judgment, what the judge announced that is that an act of God, that this was an act of God. Erach's license was impounded. He was not able to drive after that. And the judge proclaimed in the final judgment an act of God. And surely enough, it was an act of God. So here we end our today's session sharp 6:30. Thank you, Baba, for maintaining the time. And so I just thought that we need to really revisit these important occasions in Baba's ministry so that we are having some glimpse of what Baba had to undergo because of us. Any questions, anything to ask, anything to share? Lovely. Okay then, thank you very much. Thank you, Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Jai Baba. Jai Baba.